It's Beer O'Clock on Real Ale Craft Beer. Today we've got a beer from Australia. It's by Slow Lane Brewing Company and it's called Before Dawn Munich Dunkel Dark Lager. It's 5% ABV. It's in a 375 milliliter can. Australian craft beers, I've got one here actually. In the UK and Europe, we generally put our beers in 330 milliliter cans. But in Australia, they're slightly bigger. It makes all the difference. This, few swigs, lovely, gone in a moment. But this is kind of in between the 440 milliliter and the 330 milliliter. And it just seems to fit really nicely. Without further ado, let's get this beer out then into a glass and see what we get. Going to say a massive thank you to Mick in Australia for sending us today's beer. Thank you, Mick. Nice bit of smoke on the can opening if you've seen it. Beer in the glass. I do like a Munich Dunkel lager. I like the Dunkels anyway. I like the darker lagers. I like that kind of roasted malt with the kind of lagering hops, if that makes sense. The peppery spiciness of a lager type hop, like a Hallertau or something. But I like the roasted malt as well, where they add a darker malt to a Dunkel. Good levels of carbonation rolling up the glass. We have the head's dissipated quite quickly, but that's absolutely fine. It's slightly hazy to look at, but almost like a mahogany cherry red colour. You can see that carbonation rolling up the side of the glass. Let's get the aroma. Yeah, it's quite biscuity and nutty. But citrusy as well. I'm wondering if they've used Australian hops in this beer. It's got a peppery spiciness as well on the back end. Should we dive in? Cheers, everybody. Oh, so drinkable, so refreshing. Carbonation has got that kind of hiss and fizz on the palate. It's really quite striking. It's very prominent, the carbonation. But that helps when the beer sits on the palate, when the beer, all of them flavours are sitting on the palate. With the carbonation, it kind of creates a reaction in the mouth. It kind of springs the flavours alive as it's pushing the beer on the inside of the mouth. It's almost got a, dare I say it, it's almost got a cherry cola type aroma and flavour to it. Oh, but it's so tasty. Because it's roasted malt, you get a little bit of biscuit malt coming through, you get a little bit of breadiness coming through. But what it does is it kind of reacts with the hops. And it reacts with the hops in a slightly different way. If you used pale malt, if you made a pale lager, then the flavours of the beer would be more, maybe slight kind of lemony flavours, maybe slight lime flavours, a spiciness coming through, a pepperiness. You still get the spiciness and the pepperiness in this beer, but the hops change, and the hops change because of the roasted malt. it becomes more of a plum flavour, a fig or a prune. So rather than kind of light citrus flavours, the beer, the hops are mixing with the roasted malt in the beer, and it's giving off more of a plum and a fig and a prune, darker fruits that represents the darker malt in the beer clashing with the hops. But it's so refreshing, absolutely so refreshing. I could drink a 5% ABV. I could drink a few pale lagers, maybe a few pilsners or Helles lagers, and then I could probably sink a few of these before dawn. So, what do we know about Slow Lane Brewing Company? Pardon me. I think this might be my first beer from them. Munich Dunkels were the most common German beer until technological advances in the late 19th century made pale lagers easier to produce. Our lagers are inspired by the rustic Keller beers from the Franconian region of Germany. Before Dawn showcases the rich and complex flavour of dark Munich malts. So the malts are dark Munich, Carafa Special, and the hops are indeed Hallertau and Mittelfroh. So they've not used, and the yeast is German lager yeast. But it might have been a temptation to use Australian hops in this beer. But they held firm. There's some terrific Australian hops at the moment coming out of Australia. I mean, it's just wonderful kind of hops, lovely flavours, but they held firm. They made a traditional Dunkel, and they've used Hallertau and Mittelfroh, which are German hops. So Slow Lane Brewing is a small family-owned brewery located in Botany, New South Wales. We specialise in modern interpretations of old world European ales and lagers. Naturally carbonated via can conditioning, stored upright and poured gently into a glass to leave the yeast sediment in a can. Well, that's a look at it. Proud independent Australian craft brewers, look. They got the badge, the stamp to show it. I think I'm about ready to rate it. Pardon me. Look at the way that beer looks in the glass. Look at that. Nice, as you roll the beer around, it builds the head back up. Nice carbonation, nice look. Nice dark colours to the beer. Lovely aroma. Now you're able to swirl this beer around in the glass. Lovely, lovely aroma. Figs and plum and prune. A little bit of roasted malt. And then a terrific taste. Oh, an absolutely terrific drinkable taste. I could drink 3 or 4 of these. I really like it. Slow Lane Brewing Before Dawn Dunkel Lager. For me, gets a Stone the Crows 9 out of 10. So 9 out of 10 from Real Ale Craft Beer. Please put your comments in the comments box. Subscribe to our daily beer and food reviews. Give us a big fat thumbs up. Boom! Cheers.